Click the links for Odysee, BitChute. It's much less censored on those alternative video platforms. Join the Discord, Gab, a sports channel, copy PayPal, subscribe, star, all the other links, or through crypto. So, what happens when you defund the police? You get Wakanda, or you get Haiti, one of the two. Yes, the globalists are behind this, and the useful idiots who are the puppets to the puppet master machinations are all on board. Antifa loves this. They love the science. They love this, of course. Then the Antifa girls get struggle snuggled by BLM. Eventually, they get tired of having sore buttholes, and they stay away from BLM activities. But there are always more brainwashed girls from liberal San Francisco, Portland, and Seattle to be future victims to BLM's fun and games. The power of the TV and school boards to brainwash the kids, that was something that was, I was going to say massively underestimated by most of us. There were people back in the day who were very, very woke on this issue, but we thought those people were just too far right. They're just so extreme. Hey, I was one of those people who was just not getting it. You don't understand what you don't understand until you understand it. It's like the red pill is not it's not a journey that's accomplished in a single day. It takes, I don't know, it probably takes a month to really get it if you were exposed to it like repeatedly. If someone had clipped Twitter clips and social media clips and just showed you this overwhelming evidence of this verified hate, blue check mark hate, like who these people are, you could do it in a month if you went into it with an open mind before you finally come to the conclusion, like, oh, there's really legitimately something wrong. And you can go read some historical documents. I don't know how much to say on YouTube dealing with writings from the past that deal with this issue. It's like, or you could just go on Twitter and see the hatred for yourself, the verified hate, and you like see where it's coming from. Like, oh, this is real. This is actually happening. These people really do want to delete an entire group of people from this mortal coil. And in fact, they are doing it. So that power of brainwashing kids through TV, some people knew about it in the 50s and 60s and 70s, and then in the 80s, it's like it just was. They just started stepping on the gas because they weren't getting enough resistance. It allowed, allowing the globalist vermin in country in the first place was a fatal error, but allowing them positions of influence was another error. Kids should be taught in nationalist, pro-European schools, but that ship has sailed. The best we can do now is set up small homeschool pro-Europa networks free of the globalist influence. And someone was saying on BitChute in the comments, there is actually a network of schools that do something like that. And the thing is, if we try to crowdfund this type of stuff, well, now there's Give, Send, Go, which is a Christian crowdfunding. But like if you tried to crowdfund something to help European business people get ahead, it just wouldn't be allowed on any crowdfunding site. They'd just kick you off. Where Black and all these other POC organizations are allowed on crowdfunding sites or social media sites. Like if you tried to do that on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, they just kick you off. Like there's no attempt at fairness. You go, oh yeah, we got some struggling European people in this part of the state. We're going to try to like do something to help their businesses. And it's like, oh, well, isn't that exactly what the black businesses and the other POC businesses are doing? Something to preferentially advance their interests? Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. So why can't this European group do it? Oh, well, we don't really have a reason why you can't do it. But you can't do it because anything that shows in-group preference, and it's just like simple game theory. If you don't advance your interests while you're surrounded by people who advance their interests, you're going to get screwed. So anyway, when you defund the police, the usual suspects will do what they do, what they've always been doing. You'll get a massive, and there's so much more I could say, but I'm trying to keep this for YouTube to get people over to Odysee and BitChute. you're gonna get a massive amount of violence where you see a girl struggle snuggled on a subway train and people just sit back and film it. It's like, listen, nobody's asking you to go John Rambo on these people. If you're anywhere, you've got a bottle of pepper spray, a bottle of mace, and maybe a little pocket knife. It's like, empty the bottle of pepper spray in the guy's eyes. It will slow him down enough, and it's like, it will just slow him down enough so he's not interested in doing what he's doing, completing the robbery or the violent crime. And it's like, it's really hard to see with that stuff, so he's going to be wandering around in circles until the police finally pick him up. It's like, at least do that. Nobody's asking you to put him in a chokehold and break his neck, though. You know, if you're capable of that. Well, I mean, if you're capable of that, you probably would have done it. But then it's like you get the Richard Jewell syndrome, where the media looks at you and tries to make you be the bad guy that sits in the scenario. So it's like that's life in a low trust society where the media is actively anti-white and working against you. Anyway, so when you get this, you defund the police, you get massive amounts of violence. The government will use that to suspend the Constitution as a matter of public safety during the ongoing climate/Wu flu crisis or whatever crisis, imaginary crisis they make up of the day, and they'll enact a federal police force. If you think that I am kidding, and what about the 10th Amendment? I just said they would suspend the Constitution. And if you think that I'm kidding, then you've not been paying attention. 1, suspend the Bill of Rights. 2, federal police. Yeah, that's absolutely on the horizon. This isn't tinfoil hat stuff anymore. You see what they're doing if you're reading the news. And I'm not even talking about the alt news. Like, you can be reading the Gateway Pundit and the Post Millennial and Breitbart, Fox, but you can also read ABC, CBS, NBC, MSNBC, and it's like, oh, this is actually happening on the mainstream. They really want to do this thing. Garland, a.k.a. Garfinkel, whose daughter is selling CRT books, wants to go after parents who are at school board meetings. Listen, if there's violence at a school board meeting, you have police on station. They can take someone out of a meeting, arrest them, give them a citation. If there's really violence, you don't call the FBI. That's what the local police are for. And I suspect that there's not violence at school board meetings. Or, heaven forbid, the one guy, Smith, whose daughter had been struggle snuggled and the school board covered it up. Yeah, he got arrested and he spent 10 days in jail because he was trying to tell the school board his daughter had been struggle snuggled, and the school board covered it up. Ziegler and I forget the other guy's name. There's a bunch of these people at the school board who'd covered up. And then not only that, the kid who got arrested for the struggle snuggle in a bathroom, he sodomized this girl in a bathroom. He went to a different school and he did it again. And the school board covered that up because it's like he was a BLT character. And the school board is just loves the BLT characters. The thing is, the only thing that can stop tyranny are militias, and form them now while you can. Listen, if you're in California, New York, New Jersey, it's going to be rough because you don't have the Second Amendment. Well, technically, de jure, you do because of the federal supremacy clause, but de facto, you don't. So if you're in California and you try to form some militia, which is allegedly your constitutional right, and okay, we're going to meet up, we're going to go for a hike, and we're going to be armed. Well, no, you can't be armed in California. Like, what are you talking about? The Constitution's right to keep and bear arms. Oh, yeah. Are you saying California violates the Constitution? Yeah, of course it does. I mean, welcome to the party. So, no, listen, California, New York, New Jersey, wherever there's laws like that where the police, if you got an armed group of guys who could jog in the hills, helicopters are going to come in and they're just probably going to murder you. So don't do that. Just don't do it. And you don't need to do it, but there probably are ways to form neighborhood watch groups. And like maybe you can call them militias if you want, or you don't have to call them militias. You call them neighborhood watch. You could call them homeschooling group. And it's really any group of people who have the same ideals getting together. It's like, yeah, we could be the homeschool advocacy group. It's like, well, what else are you talking about? Oh, it doesn't matter. But you gotta meet and talk in person in people's living rooms, like those old AA meetings, drinking coffee and talking. Like you have to just talk, and don't Fed post because there's no need to Fed post. There's absolutely no need for advocating unconstitutional activities. What happens in the future will happen in the future. All you got to do now is get together, talk to people, say, hey, I don't like the way that, I don't know how to articulate this. I'm not some political science big brain. I'm not some smart person. I see the way the country is going. I have concerns. I think maybe we should get back to the Constitution. I see trouble right now, and I see more trouble on the horizon, and I see a certain group of people who are behind it. Let's get together and drink coffee and talk about this. Oh, I think we should commit these illegal acts. No, we're not Fed posting. We're just going to talk in people's living rooms or go for walks or whatever. Just talk about the state of the nation. Because, otherwise, if you don't take part in city councils and school board meetings and judges and all district attorneys and all these, if you don't take a part in your society, like a lot of European people just want to sit back and kind of let the machine run itself, and it doesn't. Or you see what happens when the machine runs itself. Like, you got to get back to this in-group preference, this pro-European identity, like La Raza has their identity, Jewish groups, Muslim groups, every African groups have their identity. It's like you got to have some kind of pan-European identity to advocate for your interests. Maybe they're the Constitution, maybe there's something a little bit different, but I know they're not this like trans kids in schools. No police. Hey, a lot of us on the right and the far right, we don't want police kneeling on somebody's neck for 9 minutes while their hands are tied behind their back. We want better police. We want police held accountable to the district attorney's office. We don't want some incestuous relationship with police unions. There's a lot of shadiness going on with cops, unions, district attorney's office, and city councils, mayors. We want better government, police held accountable. If that means you have to fire 10% of the police force, or you have to prosecute more police for murder. I don't want a homeless man standing with a knife. I don't want a half dozen cops with MP5s to say, let's light this guy up and just murder him on camera. Those police, no, they shouldn't be fired. They should be prosecuted, given fair legal due process, and then given capital punishment as a warning to other police that, no, you don't just get to kill somebody because they call it no human involved when it's a prostitute or a homeless person or someone like that, someone who doesn't have, powerful friends or can't hire an attorney. That's a society in decline. Everyone should matter, black, white, whatever. We want better cops, but we also realize, well, yeah, the cops are dealing with a lot of sociopaths, and there's going to be times when cops are just going to have to murder people, kill people. It's not murder. You're going to have to. There's going to be homicides. If you're reaching for a knife, you're probably going to get killed. That's a good kill. Where if you're kneeling on someone's neck and they have a heart attack, it's like, yeah, we're the actual cause, proximate cause. It doesn't matter. You shouldn't be kneeling on somebody's neck. Situations like that, or they break into an RV and some 85-year-old man is asleep, and the cops just murder him in his bed. Those cops should be, after legal due process, given capital punishment. We want better cops. We want a society that works. And this is the way the society is going now, is you've got a lot of filthy parasites who are running it into the ground. And that's, it's like a society gets the parasites that it doesn't eradicate. And I mean, legally and constitutionally, all that kind of stuff. I mean, you got to take part in society is what I'm trying to say. It's like we let it go for a long time, and people have been warning us, and we've kind of been sleeping on it. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. Don't advocate any unconstitutional activities, and I will see you guys all next episode.